Okay, we'll talk a little Giants, Dodgers here. Hey, this is from Showtime LA. Good evening, fellas. Dodgers, tough week, but huge to get a win against John's Giants. Snell, Trinan, and Sasaki all on the way. They definitely need a reliever or two at the deadline to replace Phillips.
Well, I don't think they're going to make a trade for a pitcher. Sasaki is not coming back this year. He is way behind the power curve in terms of health with the injections in the shoulder. They got to redo his mechanics. Snell could be 2 weeks out. Trinan, I think he could be called up right post All-Star break. They're talking to a lot of people about a third baseman, and the Arenado thing is out there. But that's a year and a half of big money contracts, but money is no object with Dodger dollars. So I think there's going to be an acquisition. There's going to be a transaction there. I don't know that they're going to go get another pitcher because they've got enough pitchers waiting in the wings to come back. And again, they're building Ohtani as they go. Next start, I could see him post All-Star break, maybe go 4 innings or there. Like I said, to the agony of the guy wearing the Giants hat, I don't think we've seen the best Dodger baseball yet, and that's still to come.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if assuming your theory is true, and I think it will be, I think the Dodgers are going to get better in the second half. So if you've already got a big lead, you think they're going to get better, then why would you have to deal away prospects to replace Max Muncy? He's only going to be out 6 weeks.
Yeah, but 6 weeks, and you don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back 6 weeks. And the Dodgers have had stretches where they have not hit. So if you can get proven commodity, even headed to the twilight of his career, Arenado is hitting, I think, 268 with, 14, 18 home runs, and he plays the Gold Glove third base still. So if you can get him.
It would be so Dodgers to get Nolan Arenado.
Dodgers.
Yeah, it's like I remember they got Schwarzer that one time, and they always seem to get the big name in the trade deadline.
Jack Flaherty last year? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no limit with Dodger dollars.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Next one. Thanks, Shiloh.
Okay, let's go here to Jaime, and he says, hey, Padres need a catcher and a left fielder. I don't trust Peralta and Matsui. Also, Campusano needs to be released ASAP.
Well, they may give up on Campusano. I think he's now 0 for 21, and he's got 8 bases on balls, which means he does not have a hit in 29 plate appearances, and they obviously don't believe he's a major league catcher. Otherwise, he'd be back in that rotation. But I think at the end of the day, he's probably a 4A pitcher. I don't know what his value is on the trade market, but again, where are you going to go? I mean, it was talk that they might look at Sean Murphy from Atlanta, but Atlanta's not going to give away a power hitting catcher unless they get something of significance in return. And what have the Padres got to give at the major league level unless Atlanta's just going to take a good prospect for Sean Murphy? There are some other trade rumors out there involving the Padres. There's about 4 or 5 catchers that they might look at. But see, I've taken a different bend on this. I think defensively, what Maldonado and Diaz have done behind home plate is pretty good. But their collective batting average is $190. As of this All-Star break, the two of them are hitting 190. So what do you do?
Well, the defensive metrics on Maldonado are not that good anymore. I mean, he used to be a lot better defensively. I mean, if I'm the Padres, if I'm AJ Preller, I bring up Campusano, I waive Maldonado, and I just let Campusano just play. I mean, because he's clearly killing the ball in El Paso. It's a problem with his head. And he just needs to be in a situation where he feels like he's not going to get released after going 0 for 12. He needs to relax.
But defensively, he's really been deficient. And he's been in and out of the lineup 3 years in a row. So they know what he can and can't do. And they've tried to teach him to do certain things, and he still doesn't do it.
Just so weird. I just remember he was a first-round draft pick back in the day.
He expected so much.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I think he's a 4A player. I just don't know that he's a major league hitter either. By the way, the last name that just surfaced, they are talking to the White Sox about a deal for former number 1 draft pick catcher Corey Lee. He's hitting 262 at AAA. Has not hit at the major league level very consistently, but there's been talk about him. That's another name that's kind of in the mix, so we'll just keep an eye on it. But AJ has a history of making deals. AJ, I think, will make a deal. Okay, move on.
Yeah, you can expect that. How about some Lakers talk? Go here to Carlos. Hey, Lee, would you trade LeBron to Dallas or Cleveland, to the Mavs for Cooper Flagg and Klay Thompson, or to the Cavs for Mobley and Garland?
You shouldn't drink before you join this podcast, but that's okay if you want to drink before you join this podcast. First of all, who's got room for $52.6 million? Secondly, Cleveland is not going to bust up their rotation. They love Mobley, defensive star player. Garland obviously had some injury problems, but that's firepower there. Cooper Flag. You're kidding me. Like I said, you should not drink before you join us on the podcast.
If I'm the Lakers, I'm taking both of those deals like without even blinking, right?
But that came from somebody who was drinking before I got on the podcast.
Well, it's just Laker fan is just, sometimes we're irrational when we get to our own team.
My whole opinion, and I put something up on X overnight. LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, shut the bleep up. We're running this team, and we made one deal to get a rim protector and a guy, DeAndre Ayton, and we got 3.5 star players. We don't want to hear about your unhappiness. We don't want to hear about Bronny. Just shut up and play, because the agent just keeps talking and talking and talking. Now the latest thing is, last week the agent said, well, LeBron is considering everything in the rest of his career, and getting a championship is part of what he is considering. Dropping the hint, well, we don't think we're going to win a championship, trade me. And then last night he indicated LeBron is not asking for a trade. Well, shut your mouth. You shouldn't have said anything to begin with. He invoked the option to stay on the final year of the deal. Nobody wants $52.6 million. Nobody's got the space to make that kind of transaction. What are the Lakers going to get? Nobody's going to give you a number one for a 40-year-old player. Nobody's going to give you one of those star players for a 40-year-old player. LeBron, just be quiet. Just finish this out. Play like a champion. Use your impact to make DeAndre Ayton a better basketball player. Luka, I was told, looks so different that his regimen and off-season training and diet, he just looks chiseled. He looks really different. So we'll get a closer look at him within a month or so. But the Lakers are where the Lakers are, because all the two guys are making mega money. So just shut up and play basketball. Am I wrong for saying that?
No, it's interesting. I saw a comment. I think it was in your best 15 where, Pelinka, when he made the deal to get DeAndre Ayton, did not even consult with LeBron.
Exactly.
He only talked to Luka.
Right.
I mean, that's telling.
Well, if LeBron feels offended, tough crap. You've had a great career. You're making $52 million. Use your influence to make this a better locker room and make that center a better basketball player. I mean, if Ayton can be what he was when he first broke in with Phoenix after his career at the University of Arizona, I thought, wow, that's going to be a good NBA center, but it hasn't been that. I think he's underachieved. He's not the same player anymore. So I guess I'm in a minority. Everybody knows podcast. There's nobody out there aside from Hacksaw that likes what LeBron has done over the course of this magnificent career. Everybody hates LeBron. God.
It's weird. It is a weird thing. You don't see this in other sports.
Yeah. So that's where we are. Shut up and play, and let's see where you make this thing even better. Good input. But Carlos, if you're going to drink before the podcast, at least offer us a few cold beers too. It's 99 freaking degrees outside. Carlos, thanks for joining us, man. Great to have you on board.
Okay, here's a two-parter. This is from Angel talking about the All Star Game. He goes, "Hey, I love the MLB All Star Game. Unlike the other three, the MLB All Star Game is played like a regular game. Plus, the players are wearing their own uniforms. Some of the softball Walmart-style uni." And he goes on to say, hey, interleague is one of the reasons why MLB All Star Game lost some of its luster.
Yeah, it has. And now the players are making gobs of money. And there's the injury factor of the season is such a grind. You got guys now that don't want to get on a plane on Sunday night and fly to Atlanta and then play and take part in the All-Star festivities and then get on a plane, come home, and have to start the second half of the season. Guys want a chance to decompress. I'll tell you, the 4 or 5 days off that these guys, the non-All-Star guys, this is like gold for them to be able to sleep in their own bed, not have to get on a plane, not to go to a stadium, go through treatment and all that. So I understand the wear and tear factor, but this is also really special. And I don't want to see the All-Star Game just become a dog and pony show, or as somebody said, they become the Savannah Bananas with the way the roster has been laid out, et cetera. It's lost a little bit of its zing, a little bit of its luster. Injuries have obviously got something to do with it.
On my drive home last night from San Francisco, one of the guys on Sports Talk Radio was talking about the 1971 All-Star Game at Detroit Tiger Stadium and saying that was probably one of the best All-Star games of all time.
Is that where Reggie hit it on the roof?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently there were like some huge number, like 19 guys or something like that, that are Hall of Famers from that one All-Star game.
Yep.
So yeah, the All-Star game has diminished a lot because I remember it was a cool thing in spring training when I get to see the Giants playing the A's or the Giants playing the Yankees. Well, they didn't play the Yankees because I was in Florida, but they play other American League teams. Now it's just like, whatever. I see it in the regular season with interleague play, and it does take luster off the All-Star game.
The novelty of even interleague players now, it feels different. It's another series, 3-game series on the schedule. When they first started interleague play, they really had a system. They put interleague play either side of the All-Star games.
I remember that, yeah.
And it was really cool. Like, all right, we're going to see Cincinnati play Cleveland, fierce Ohio rivals. We're going to see Giants and A's. We're going to see Yankees and Mets. But they were sandwiched either side. But now the fact that we have a balanced schedule, the whole scheduling is changed. And now you got interleague games at the start, interleague games during the season. It's just got a different thing to it. And I will say this, tomorrow night, they're not wearing no Walmart softball uniforms.
Right.
Everybody's going to have their home colors or their road colors. I like that. But
no City Connects either.
I wish like hell that all the named players were there, but sometimes guys need breaks.
Yeah. This season's a grind, man. Yes. I mean, it really is. So it's going to be, the All-Star break is great for the players. I agree, but it was cool seeing like Teoscar Hernandez last year winning the Major League Baseball home run derby. And he had his little kid there with him, you know, and gets to take, that's a once in a lifetime.
Exactly. Thank you for the comment, and Angel. And we'll see what Tuesday night All-Star game is like. And of course, we got home run derby with who's in the home run derby on Monday night?
James Wood.
That's true.
Okay. And we'll get to see if Cal Raleigh's the real deal too. Okay. Here, let's talk a little bit about Hacksaw's resume. He goes, afternoon, gents. Hey, Mr. Hamilton, since you answered my question about you working a WHA game in San Diego, how about if you did a major indoor soccer league or NASL game in San Diego while in Cleveland?
I did. I did Cleveland Force indoor soccer on radio 1 year, and I came to San Diego, and we played the San Diego Sockers indoors. Ron Newman was the head coach.
Right.
Great guy to interview, just off the charts. But the San Diego Sockers were really special. Holy cow. Stevie Zungel, and they had so many great players there.
Julie V.
Exactly.
I worked at the sports arena then. I was a college
right.
student.
I remember
I was selling popcorn up and down the aisles, and the Cleveland Force was actually a good team.
Yep. Yeah, we had an Argentinian midfielder. His name was Ruben Astigaraga, and we called him Ruben 11 Letters. And he was a magician with the ball on his foot. He did stuff they'd never seen. And then we had a player who I guess he had come from the English Premier League. His name was Mike Berry, a short little guy who could just physical. He spoke an English brogue that I didn't understand. And his phraseology of, we're going to give you the stick. You're an American radio announcer. We're going to give you the stick. I didn't know what the hell he's talking about. Stick is I'm going to give you a bunch of crap.
Stick.
No, stick.
Stick. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we had a South African guy who could run all night. Baby Attar was his nickname. And he learned how to play the angles off the boards, etc. So, the first time, it was like doing hockey. That's why I got hired. I was the only one that could kind of understand how the game worked indoors. And I'd use hockey terminology to discuss the Cleveland Force. But boy, St. Louis Steamers were really good. Baltimore team was really good, and obviously the San Diego Sockers were. They were legendary.
Yeah, they were dominant back then.
And that's what saddens me no end. We have a very good indoor program here. Craig Childs is a great gentleman, very good soccer player with the current San Diego Sockers, but they don't market the sport. The sport's almost semi-pro compared to what this was.
But they're playing in that new arena in
Oceanside, yeah. But they're not. They draw 1,200. They draw 800. Yeah. It's not. When we played the Sockers in here, I was in here one time. I swear there must have been 8,000 fans here.
Oh yeah,
and that was the height of Ron Newman's great success.
Yeah, at the sports arena. They filled that place up.
So that's another page on my resume.
I love hearing all these backstories on Hacksaw. I think it's good. Okay. Hey, let's go here to Casey. And he goes, Hey, Lee, how do you like calling games at the LA Coliseum, which is one of my favorite stadiums I've been to? I miss hearing you do football play-by-play, as you were awesome on calling football games.
Yeah, we had a great time. I loved it. Loved doing the Chargers I like doing San Diego State. I was very, very blessed to be able to do it during the Marshall Faulk era. And obviously, I did USC football for 3 years. Coliseum, I mean, I know the history, and when it's full, it is just electric. But we were so far away in the press box area, way up high. It was a much different feel. Rose Bowl was really different. I did USC UCLA at the Rose Bowl. Man, that was electric. And that's coming from somebody who also did Ohio State, Michigan back in the day at the Horseshoe.
You did that?
Yeah. So yeah, but I was amazed. USC, UCLA. And I've talked to people that talk about the other rivalries in the old Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12. The Apple Cup, Washington State. Oh, that's electric. And Oregon State was always played in bad weather. They had a game was played in the mud. It was a 0-0 tie. I think it was in the 70s. And it just, I've heard stories about it, and games played in snow, etc. So the old Pac-10, Pac-8, some great historical rivalries there. So I enjoyed doing play-by. I love game day. I love the NFL. And obviously, I love this kind of uniqueness. The San Diego State thing was kind of cool because that was at the height of Lavelle Edwards and all greatness at BYU, the quarterback factory.
Yeah.
And we had such great games with Brigham Young. The wildest game I ever did was 51-51, Aztecs BYU.
I remember that one.
Robbie Bosco threw for 1,000 yards, and David Lowry and Marshall Faulk were heaving a ball up and down the field. So it was a great time. Boy, it seems like a lifetime ago.
Now, the LA Coliseum, wasn't that where Raider fan offered you some weed?
Yeah, at halftime of a Charger Raider game. I'm sitting there, we're at halftime, and the Chargers are beating the Raiders. I don't know if it was a Super Bowl season or not, but so we're getting to halftime, and we smell something in the press box. And Jim Laslovic turns to me and says, "What is that?" And I said, "That's not a burnt hot dog. I'll guarantee you that." And it was some guy who had come up the stairwell to the radio booth. You could look right into if you stood on your tippy toes, you could peer right into the radio booth. This guy came up and offered us some marijuana at halftime. Raider fan, the best of the bunch. I said, "Nah, that's okay. I'll pass on that. Thanks for listening."
Hacksaw stories, man, are just great.
Oh, yeah. Oakland Coliseum. So we go in there early to set up because we did that long pregame show on the Charger broadcast when the Charger broadcasts were really
from
good.
Dawn to dusk.
Yeah, damn right. So we go in there at like 9 o'clock in the morning to get set up, and we're walking in through the parking lot. And of course, Raider Nation is out there in force, flags and motorcycles and gang members and all that. The guys walking up to us, offering us hard liquor at 9 o'clock in the morning. They were just getting ready. That was their pregame breakfast.
Yeah.
I said, "No, guys, we'll catch you on the backside when we come out after the game." So it's just hilarious. Raider Nation, they hated me, but they loved me.
You get some Star Wars characters out there too.
Oh, the finest that society has to offer. Okay, thanks, Case.
Okay, let's go here to Joey. He goes, "Hey, Dodgers always slump before the All-Star break. They're about to get back Snell and Glasnow and Max in a couple of weeks. Is there a trade they can make for the playoffs to better improve their chances?" We talked about Arenado. I mean, what do you think they could get another pitcher?
Do they need another pitcher? That's the big issue. Do they need another pitcher? Are they willing to trade somebody from AAA like Landon Knack or one of those guys to go get a rental for a half a season? I don't know. They're waiting in the wings, though. Look at the guys that are sitting there waiting to come back. I mean, Landon Knack has been more trustworthy than most young guys when they've asked him to come up and pitch. And then obviously, we're waiting on Snell and the bullpen, even though Phillips is gone for the year, Trinan is going to come back. Now Kopech may not be back till the 1st of September with this knee scope meniscus problem that he had. But I think solving the issue at third base more than anything else is more significant to the Dodgers than trying to rent another arm, unless there's a setback. If there's a setback in the next 2 weeks with Snell, then maybe they have to rethink this whole thing.
Well, who did a great job was Emmett Sheehan.
Yeah.
Because Ohtani went, I think, 2 or 3 innings, and then Sheehan picked up the ball and went for like 4+ innings.
He's given more good starts than he's had bad starts.
Yeah, so you're right. They just have a ton of depth. But who was playing third base for the Dodgers over the weekend?
Well, it was Kiki Hernandez, but then he's hurt and he's on the disabled list. They moved Miguel Rojas, I think,
Yeah, that would make
shortstop,
sense.
second baseman, but he's not a third baseman, but he had a home run. There may be a transaction to get a third baseman. If it's not Arenado, maybe they'll rent somebody else.
Do they think they still wish they had Justin Turner?
No, because age has caught up to him. He's not hitting at all. So he's the last I checked, I want to say 3 weeks ago, I thought he was hitting like 179. So
Really?
he's got a lot of miles on him. He's had a great career, but you do wake up old.
Yeah, it hits you one day.
That's right.
But not you. You
well,
keep going.
There's some days I feel like did your dad ever own a DeSoto or a Packard or an Oldsmobile?
No, I don't go that far back.
Okay. Well, some days I feel like a DeSoto with 200,000 miles on it. Things start to break.
Hey, man, you've seen it all, though.
Damn right.
You have. You have a great career.
And I'm standing here still throwing fastballs.
Yeah,
at
you
people.
are. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're going strong. All right, here we go. Let's go to Richard, Fans Forum. Hey, Red Wings keep rebuilding on top of another rebuild. This has been going on way too long. Every time you throw the dirt on the Dodgers, they still keep finding ways to stay on top.
Well, it's been a long rebuild in Detroit. I mean, they were one of the first ones ever. First, the Red Wings hockey used to be about Gordie Howe and Ted Lindsay and the great Alex Delvecchio, who just passed at age 93. And then Detroit, obviously, they were at the forefront with the European invasion. I mean, their ability to bring players from the Soviet Union, that's what made them great. And then Stevie Yzerman came, and there was another, that's the third reinvention of Red Wings hockey. But they've been down for a while. And I'll tell you, Stevie Y's under a lot of heat now as the president of hockey operations, and they've had coaching failures, et cetera. So I don't know how much longer they've got to try to fix this thing. So I'm kind of surprised. I would have thought we would have gotten some Hockey Night in Canada calls from people pro-con Don Cherry, because in Canada, everybody's got an opinion on Don Cherry.
I mean, is there anyone in America that you would compare Don Cherry with?
Canadian version of Howard Cosell.
Oh, he's that.
Oh,
yeah.
damn, yes.
Yeah. But Cosell would never say anything like, potentially racist, like you were commenting on. Cosell never went that far.
I don't know. Cosell was over the top, though, with critique. He really was. But Cherry is he's way over the line. And Hockey Night in Canada just let him do it. I mean, it became must-see TV every Saturday. What is he going to say on Coach's Corner? And he would always say something that you would find, oh, that's just a bit offensive. Well, he made the comment that we should have killed all the parents of the Russian players at the Russian front in World War II. Well,
he probably gets the TV ratings. So, the advertising salespeople are doing well.
So anyhow, we'll see as we go. Maybe we'll get some other hockey fans who want to.
Yeah, a little Dodgers comment there, though. They keep finding a way to win.
Well, they do. But Dodger dollars are good anywhere.
Yeah.
And historically, they've always drafted well, too. I mean, if you look at that roster, yes, there are big money free agents, but the roster's also developed a fusillade of great pitching.
I prefer the Frank McCourt days.
I'd expect a dumbass comment that somebody wearing a Giants hat.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go here to Roy. Hey, Hacksaw John, do you guys really think the Red Sox will trade Duran, being 3 games out of the division lead? And even if Preller trades Cease, it's not a good trade.
Well, Detroit, I would say Boston is not going to take Dylan Cease right now at 3-9 or 3-10, whatever his record is. So keep that in mind. Duran is hanging in there. Boston's won 10 in a row. They get the All-Star break. They've won 10 in a row. And if you look at that Red Sox batting order, that box score, that roster, that's all homegrown talent. Now, granted, Garrett Crochet came from the White Sox as the front end of the pitcher, but all their everyday guys are their own people. I mean, what a phenomenal job of roster building they've done. And as much as controversial as Craig Breslow has been as general manager, boy, he's put a lot of pieces in place that seem to be working so far. So at this point, I don't think they're going to trade Duran unless it's the right guy. You tell me who San Diego's got to offer as a right guy.
Well, I think Padre fans don't want Duran because he's a lefty hitter. We need right-handed hitters. He potentially can hit for average and be productive, but he's not necessarily a power hitter.
No, but if he hits 275 and hits 20 home runs and plays really viable in the outfield, That's good. That's a good player. But who the Padres got that Boston needs or wants? No.
Yeah. Well, it's talking about homegrown. Marcelo Myers, a local kid here
Exactly.
from Eastlake High School. And then who was the kid that made that big splash a few weeks ago with the cool name? Roman something or other?
Roman Anthony.
Yeah, Roman Anthony.
And they got another kid by the name of what's his last name? Riafala, I think it is. Or he's having a really good mid-season. I mean, their roster is full of homegrown talent.
Wow. I mean, so that's a really bunched up top of the AL East. And I haven't looked at the standings lately, but Toronto is 1, and then are the Yankees 2 and Red Sox 3?
Right there. I mean, like I said, Boston's gotten to the All-Star break with a 10-game win streak.
Wow.
Okay, move on.
Okay, let's go to social media. Lots to do here as well. So go down the list. We'll talk a little. Let's go Padres. And this is from Alan. He goes, hey, karma is real, folks. The magnitude of Tatis and his antics, which included roaming around the outfield at Chavez Ravine, pantomiming that his testicles are so large that he can't walk. Even the toughest and vociferous MLB players don't act like that. Pretty much ever. Toss in Manny Machado, and you have the recipe for enough negative energy to take down a franchise, and that's what's happening.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I made a comment this past week that El Nino might be a really great athlete, but maybe he's not a true student of the game. Machado has got his shortcomings, but Machado is a great player, and the game seems to come awful easy to Machado. And you hear baseball people just talk about the talent base that he brings to the yard every night, and he's a baller. He plays all the time. So I wouldn't say they've been destructive to San Diego, because the Padres have given us 4 or 5 years of really legitimate good baseball, though they haven't been in a World Series yet. But no, they're really fine players. Of course, they're also getting paid superstar money, so I expect superstar productivity out of those guys, and we haven't seen that from Tatis on a consistent basis, and he's had all those nagging injuries. So, Alan, I'm not going to say I'm signing that memo of what you presented there, because I think those are really good ball players. They just need to get more players around them right now, and they don't have that, and they don't have the resources to go get it, and they have a lid on their payroll, I think, right now.
But it was fun to watch on TV.
Oh,
that
yeah.
whole thing was going down. It was wild. But, I to me, it's just that, Manny has matured, and Fernando is maturing. And I think we're seeing that process play out. I wouldn't expect to see, Mr. Large Testicles in right field, if they happen to face off again in the playoffs.
Oh, that's a reach. I think we probably will, because that's a rivalry that's now gone a different dimension.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. So it's all good. Okay, let's go here. Talk a little All-Star game with Joe. He goes, implement the ABS full board. Don't even have challenges. Let that be the balls and strikes. They need to get it right. Amen, 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 amen. Well,
They're going to put the computerized robo-ump in there tomorrow, but it's only be 2 challenges. It's going to be here opening day, which I think is good. I'd like to see more than 2 challenges per game. I'd like to see maybe 5 per team, because more than anything else, you want to get the play correct at the most important time of the game. I don't think guys are going to be doing this in the first inning, because you want to save your challenges when the bases are loaded, things of that nature. But you got the technology, use the technology, but do it more than twice a game, because I don't think twice a game makes the game perfect. If you give a guy 5, and let's just say he has 5 challenges, he doesn't get to add on if they get it right. You just give him 5. You got 5 per night. You decide when you're going to use them. And the technology means you can do it and snap finger pretty quick within 18 seconds electronically. Now, I don't want to have every ball and strike open for challenges, because that, I would think, would interrupt the flow of the game. Am I right or am I right?
You're wrong. Just let that call the balls and strikes, and the umpire behind the plate is like another base umpire, kind of standing off to the side, not calling balls and strikes, but will call safe and out at home plate or fair or foul down the line. It's better to get it right. I mean, poor old Luis Campusano got screwed, on Sunday in the game, getting calls that were out of the box, and they call it a strike.
Yeah, the umpire strike zone is so weird.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see games where literally the ball is right down the middle, and they call it a ball.
Yeah.
What the hell? I mean, so bring in the computerized system and let's evolve.
Okay, but it's not going to be every pitch. But I'd like to see 5 challenges each side. That's it. Get it right. Most important point of the game.
Okay. All right. Let's keep on going here. And let's, this is a good comment because we talked a little bit about Dawn and Mud and the Padres broadcast. And, the fans love Dawn and Mud. But this was an interesting comment from Paul. And he goes, I can't stand Orsillo and Grant yucking it up when the Padres are about to suffer yet another devastating defeat. They need to be more serious when situations call for it. You can't have fans at home watching them lose, cussing and yelling and hating on players if Bogarts never comes through in the clutch. But then you hear Don and Mud laughing and giggling and playing with dolls and not matching the emotions that the fans are feeling. They need to suffer as much as we do.
Have you noticed anything this past week? We put this topic on the table about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, we did.
If I were king, what I'd like to see on the Padre broadcast. What's been on the Padre broadcast in the last week, going into the All-Star break? More conversation about hot topics on the table, more insertions of out-of-town scoreboard, more conversations using Pomerantz, Scanlon on hot topics. And now I don't, should I take credit? Because if I were king, I had opinions about what I'd add to make the broadcast even better than it is. And I happen to like those guys. Those guys, though they're like you, sometimes they go off on these tangents.
But that's what makes them great.
I like lime jello, but I don't want in the middle of my broadcast Mark Grant telling me how I should walk my golden retriever at night or how to make lime jello. It says sometimes the content is just a little bit off.
It is. But, it seems like Eric Grupner's paying attention to you because he's on the business side saying, hey, man, I got this idea,
If I were king, you've got all these employees, utilize them. There's so many unique things you can add to the broadcast without interrupting the flow of the broadcast. And it's all baseball driven. And if you want to help me make yellow jello with fruit in it, that's okay too.
Okay. Jeez. Well, here's another kind of a tangent on that. Cause I remember in one of the conversations I said, hey, it'd be great to have you in the booth with Laz and Chet 40. And here's a comment from Squint. And he goes, that'd be quite a feat to bring Chet back.
Chet was great. We were on the road. I mean, Chet had done so many great things in the television industry. And we go on the road and we'd sit in a hotel lobby on the road in Denver. And he would just start telling stories about where he'd been, what he had televised. He televised Queen's coronation in England.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine that? He's talking about the Olympics. He's one of the first ones that said, we're putting a camera on the ski jump right here where this guy comes down and launches. But they had to climb up there and see how they could do it. But they did it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, so he did so many.
Was he in the truck, like deciding which?
Yeah, well, he was a director and all that. But the creative aspect of the job was we want to put cameras here, there, and everywhere. Like we'll have cameras at home plate in the All-Star game tomorrow, or cameras at first base. That's the kind of stuff that the directors would do in the weeks and months leading to big telecasts. He did so many things. We'd sit in a hotel lobby and he'd start telling stories about the Olympics that he did or the coronation of the Queen of England. Can you freaking believe that? So, I mean, he was so dynamic. He had so many personal issues that it eventually killed him. But man, talk about a life well lived. Holy
okay,
cow.
Wait a minute. I'm doing the math in my head. The coronation of the Queen of England? Because that was like in the 1940s.
Maybe it was a wedding.
No, it was probably the wedding of Charles and Diana.
Could be.
And that would make sense.
He did so many great things.
Yeah.
And he's just telling about all these different places he'd been globally. He just wasn't a guy that just did Monday Night Football with Howard Cosell, Dandy Don, and Gift, but as a guy did so many other things.
He was really good on the radio.
I thought he was.
And he did that Loose Cannon show with Hartman. And I really enjoyed those guys.
Yeah. I told John Lynch, the owner of Extra 690, and John is the one who's responsible. I was the first guy they ever hired. And when they were putting this thing together and they were going to hire Steve Hartman to be the midday host, they were trying to find somebody to work with them. And they were running through the gamut of a wide variety of different people. And I told John, and John came up with this idea and said, Chet 40? I said, yes. I interviewed Chet a couple times because Chet was the architect of the creative juice of what Monday Night Football became when he worked with Howard and Dandy Don and Giff. And he said, I'm going to bring him out here. He had lost his job at ABC because he had a gambling addiction and all that. And all his friends turned on him. And John gave him a hand. And Chet showed up. And I thought, this is magic. So you got Steve Hartman, loudmouth young West Coast punk. And you got Chet Forty, Mr. Brooklyn, old school East Coast bias. And those two guys, boom. And they didn't always get along together. But, man, they'd sit there and they'd debate each other and they'd stand in the hallway and yell at each other. I mean, it was electric. And then Chet passed away very suddenly. And suddenly, 690 had a decision. What are we doing? How are we going to replace Chet? And I came up with the idea. My guy, Bill Warndell, Philly Billy. And Billy and I had worked around NFL topics for a long time. I said, this might be a good hire. Same set of circumstances. Hartman, West Coast ideology. Philly Billy, all things East Coast. And what was that like? Just like Steve and Chet. I mean, it was mystical the way it came together.
Yeah, I mean, Chet, a legit icon in the business of sports journalism, and I loved his show. But by the way, Bill Warndell, wasn't he part of the Charger broadcast at one point? Bill Warndell? Or am I making that up in my head?
No, he did pre-post and stuff like that, but he was not part of the traveling team.
Okay. But I think it's cool. I remember when he was at Our Lads Draft Guide, and he would come on your show
all the time,
and you would do previews of the draft and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's great. But Chet was cut from a different cloth. Chet, you talk about icon of TV. You talk about brilliance on TV. He created Monday Night Football. Howard and Dandy and Giff got all the praise, and they were the personalities. But he was the creative juice behind the scenes.
He probably gets a lot of recognition in the industry for people in that part of the business, right?
Oh, yes, very much so.
So he's like if there's a Hall of Fame for what they do, he's probably in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting point that you bring up about Chet Forty. I just enjoyed being around him because he always had an opinion. And he was a great Ivy League basketball player. He played at Columbia. Right. He was an All-American.
That's right. I remember that.
Back in the 1950s, all 5'6" of him.
He's like George Plimpton and does everything.
Yeah.
The Renaissance man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we hope you have enjoyed this podcast. We're here Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. I hope you will tell everybody about what we're doing. Share, subscribe, check my website. It's all written. It's there first thing every morning. And of course, we're glad that you're part of Fans Forum. This podcast brought to you by Dixieline Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Take that damn hat off.
No way, baby.
John, enjoy the All Star Game. We'll see you come Thursday because we'll be dealing more and more with NFL training camp notes. And, of course, baseball trade deadline is the next thing that's right there on the horizon.
Yeah, the trade deadline is always a fun time of the year. It's going to start getting hot on the hot stove.
Have yourself a great All-Star break. We'll see you come Thursday. And we'll see you Thursday at 1:30. Thanks, as always, for being part of Hacksaw's Headlines.